Dick Cheney picked himself up from an armchair in his four-season suite on San Jacinto Boulevard. As dawn approached on November 8, 2000, election night had given way to burlesque. The cable news began to hint of an ugly brawl in Florida. Cheney, exhausted, walked the few steps to his bedroom, leaving old friends and aides to keep vigil at the living room TV. By the time he awoke, it was war. James A. Baker III, one of a half-dozen Republican Party lions who spent the night with Cheney in Austin, soon decamped to take command of the troops in Tallahassee. The official tally had George Bush ahead by 537 votes out of more than 5.9 million cast. For the next 36 days, the two sides fought to recount precinct by precinct, Chad by hanging Chad, until Bush persuaded the Supreme Court to halt it for good. By then, the greater part of the GOP talent pool, senators and governors, cabinet secretaries emeriti and aspiring, had enlisted one way or another in the Battle of Florida. Not Cheney. The recount had generals enough. After napping a few hours, he joined Bush at the governor's mansion on 11th and Colorado, a mile north. Cheney had another mission in mind. "Assume we win," he told Bush. "There will be thousands of jobs to fill, not only in the cabinet but across the upper ranks of the federal government." Without appointments in waiting, Bush would limp out of the gate as president, and the Florida recount might take a week, a month, no way to tell. Somebody had to start assembling a team to take control at noon on January 20th, 2001. Cheney volunteered. This was exactly the kind of inside job that Bush had in mind for his running mate. He appointed Cheney on the spot as chairman of the shadow transition for a presidency that might or might not come to be. With no official winner, and thus no government office space, Cheney set up operations at 6613 Madison McLean Drive in the affluent Washington suburb of McLean, Virginia. He and Lynn had bought the three-bedroom townhouse in the Reagan years, when she chaired the National Endowment for the Humanities, and he was climbing the GOP leadership in Congress. Now their round kitchen table became the nerve center of a government in waiting. 3 cell phones formed a makeshift switchboard for Cheney, his own, his daughter Liz's, and the one assigned to Brian V. McCormick, the body man who kept Cheney supplied and connected wherever he went. A rotating cast of aides fielded telephone calls, beginning with the trio who had run the vice presidential screening the summer before: Liz Cheney, Counsel David Addington, and troubleshooter David Gribben. Joining them from time to time were Mary Cheney, the younger daughter, and senior visitors from the Bush campaign. Cheney did much of the work alone. He had extensive networks in Washington, beginning with a database of his own former aides. The kitchen television, volume down, tracked developments in Florida, usually Fox News, sometimes the Don Imus Show on MSNBC. Jim Baker, the former Secretary of State and Treasury, and political operator par excellence, called with updates from behind the scenes. But Cheney focused steadily on the 4 years ahead. Referring to Florida, McCormick said Cheney's view was that we need to prepare in the event this war comes out in our favor. Those were turbulent weeks, all adrenaline and foreboding. Nobody could say how it all would end. Who would be president? How would we know whether a fractured electorate could unite? Could anyone even guarantee there would be a president when Bill Clinton walked out the door? Juliana Glover, Cheney's newly arrived press secretary, observed that Cheney had a calming effect on Bush and the staff. When things got especially tumultuous, his decision was to get more involved. Amid so many anomalies, it was easy to miss the peculiarity of what Cheney was doing in McLean. Vice presidents do not run transition teams. They do not hire cabinet chiefs and assistant directors of deputy assistant secretaries. A vice president breaks tie Senate votes and tries to keep on breathing in case the president happens to stop. In ordinary times, the White House chief of staff, or someone else with real authority, looks for a delicate way to box the fellow in. Cheney had done exactly that with Nelson Rockefeller.